Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? This is Tim with Hoops and Homers, or Timmy, some of you guys respond to, which I don't mind. And just like everybody else, this is my recap, my experience at the 2023 National Sports Collectors Convention. Took place in Rosemont, Illinois. For myself, I was only able to attend on Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, I actually got there pretty early. I was like, you were allowed to come in if you didn't have a special pass or something like that. You know, doors opened at 10. And so, man, the crowds, I did not expect the crowds to be as big as they were, like everyone else is saying. Typically, when I go to the National, every time it's in Chicago, I go right through the front door of the Down East Stevens Convention Center, and then you go through where you see the National sign and all that. I had to park so high up in the tower that it took me to the bridge that crosses over, dang, I forget the name of that street. The main street that runs along the, I think it's River Road. Anyway, I had to go in that way. And for those of you that are veterans, you know, every time the National is at the convention center, it's free for veterans with proof of ID. So I did not have to pay to enter both Saturday and Sunday. But then I took the escalator down, and it takes you into the corporate area. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I got stuck in that corporate area for like 10 minutes because I couldn't figure out how to get out of there. And I'm like, it can't be just this. Like, where are all the tables set up at? So that was pretty funny. I did a couple of laps, and then finally I found a little opening door that will take you to like a lobby area that will take you into the actual other side of the National. So, yeah, the additional room that everyone's talking about, that's basically where I entered on day one on Saturday for me. And for my list, you know, I did pretty good. Marked off in red is what I got. Some of the stuff I just didn't see. And I was kind of surprised at the amount of stuff that I didn't see. I thought some of the stuff, you know, for sure I would be able to pick it up. But, you know, there's always another time. There's other ways to pick up these stuff. So anyway, on Saturday I walked in, right? And my goal on Saturday was to stay away from the dollar bins, the $5 and $10 bins, just stay away from all that stuff. And I wanted to just be patient, walk around, and I wanted to knock out all my big cards on Saturday, because then I could see on Sunday how much I had for the dollar bins and so forth. So with the lot of money I brought, that's all I did. And I know I had a short amount of time because at 12 o'clock, Brian Myers and he's not even on here. Heath Slater, he goes by Heath now, we're signing autos. And they were over in the TriStar area, but I thought, man, I'm not waiting in line for that. It was just so long for all the different athletes. So I have cards there that I should have brought because the Impact Wrestling table, it was really like, you know, show your ticket, walk up, and they sign. So I kind of like, you know, pivoted and went and bought a baseball and got that autographed by both of them. And it was pretty cool. Brian Myers was like, I've never signed a baseball before. I'm like, oh, this is the first. 101 on there, which I should. I would have thought of it. I would have asked him to put 101 on there. But he was like a little nervous because he said, man, this is kind of difficult. I don't know how ball players do this. And he's like, Heath, you ever signed a ball before? He's like, oh, yeah, I've signed balls before. So that was a pretty cool experience. Very nice guys. I tell them how when I had my injury, I just binged all of their Major Wrestling Podcast channel on YouTube for like 2 days straight. And it was awesome. So, yeah, so I walked around just looking for cards. Let's see, how am I going to break this down? Okay, I see what I'm going to do. Okay, so the very first card I picked up, real quickly. So everyone talks about how hot it was and everything. I don't know about the experiences for Wednesday through Friday, but talking to the dealers on Saturday, it sounds like there's another convention rolling into town that has huge garage doors in a separate room, and those doors were constantly being opened and closed, which allowed the hot air to come in and was messing with the sensors on the AC units. Hence, them shutting off or shutting on and causing heat in the room. And plus, I guess the crowds were bigger for whatever reason, Wednesday through Friday. I thought the crowds were very manageable on Saturday. I didn't think it was that bad. And also on Sunday, it was perfect. And for myself, the way I like to go about the National is I got my backpack with my water, protein bars, and I don't eat lunch. I just grind from 10 to 6, just looking, walking. I literally did 90% of the show on Saturday. I saw 90% of everything on Saturday. And then I went on Sunday, left off where I started, or started where I left off on Sunday, and then just did another loop around. So, yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. First card I picked up, knocked it off my list for 1986 Flair, Karl Malone rookie. Really, really nice condition. And I got a good price on it. So that's another thing. Everyone was absolutely right on these prices. I took off throughout all the cards I'm going to show anywhere between $10 to $50 on every single card that I purchased. I thought the dealers were great to talk to. They were great to deal with. I didn't have a single bad experience. Unlike 2019, I had a terrible experience with this one dealer who had a bunch of dollar bins. And then I picked them all out. And then I gave him an offer. And then he said to me, he's like, no, I don't take offers. And so I set the stack of cards back down. Now, mind you, these are dollar cards. I set the stack down on the table, went to walk away. He says, you mind put those back where you found them? I was like, oh, man. So, lesson learned on that one. I never will do that again. Card that wasn't on my list, but I have it raw, and now I can move that card, and I've got a graded Bo Jackson. Nice card. This is going to be a little bit longer than my normal 10 to 15 minutes because I just want to show off everything. And like I said, if you see price tags on these cards, these are not what I paid. So after walking around on Saturday, my big card I was looking for was the 1933 Goudey Bobby Jones golf card. My backup to that was same product, but it was the Walter Hagen. I did not see not only Bobby Jones cards, but I didn't see hardly any golf cards there. If you happen to see golf cards somewhere I missed, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear where you found them if you're collecting golf cards. I know D Collectibles, he was looking for the same card. But I did find a Walter Hagen. It was in a, I think it was a PSA 1 or 1.5. But for $200, so raw in good condition, I've seen on eBay, I marked it down. It was like $150, right? $150 for the Hagen. Now at PSA 1, it was like a crease and like extremely chewed up rounded corners. They were selling it for $200. And that was the only Walter Hagen I saw. So I guess my backup plan was over in the corporate area, there was a dealer that was mostly modern. He had, I think it was like Shark Card or something like that. He had a giant shark on the poster of his business, right? It was all modern cards. But he did have a 1957 Topps Bob Cousy rookie in there. It was a SGC, but authentic. So that means it was cut. And the price was right. And it looked good. It was centered. Not a lot of snowing in the background. But the authentic thing just like bugged me for the amount of money I was planning on spending on that. It gave me pause. So that was in the back of my mind for the entire 2 days I was there. I was like, this could be your big card to pick up. Especially the fact that he had all modern stuff, except for this one like vintage card. And I thought that the clientele that were going to his booth like that would be there on Sunday if I was going to get it at the last second. But yeah, kept on walking around. Didn't find a big card for me on Saturday. Then I found a dealer who was actually really nice. He was from North Dakota, and he had a $20 minimum like slab bin. So I was searching through those. I picked up some 90s hockey cards. I'm trying to maybe get back to some of my 90s hockey card collection. So here's Gretzky. Patrick Waugh. Nice good card. Now, I've got this card raw, but now I don't need to grade it, and I can move it. That was another thing I found. I was looking for cards that, like, if I could get them graded, then I can move the raw ones I have. This is a Throwback Thursday. Mike Trout. And then I found this one. This was the hit of the show. This is a 2019 Topps Heritage, but it is an action variation. I got this for $30. And even SGC missed that it was action variation. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. $30. Usually, it says like, Topps started putting like the little words action, stuff like that. But now if you just go to the codes down here and look it up, you'll see this is the action variation of it. So super happy to add this, especially for the price. I felt almost guilty in the hotel room because I talked to the dealer so long. He noticed I was wearing Major Wrestling Podcast t-shirt, and he's like, oh, I listen to those guys. And we started talking about wrestling, and then we started talking about Ethan Page from AEW and wrestling figs and toy hunting, all that stuff. And he's like, do you collect toys? I'm like, no, not really, but I love watching the toy hunts. And then I guess I got a few wrestling figs I have, but yeah, I felt very guilty. But, you know, sometimes it pays off when you know what you got. All right, next up. Is that it for today? I think that is it for Saturday. Yeah, that's it for Saturday. No. Yeah, that's it for Saturday. Okay. And then picked up wax here, like everyone else said. The wax on Sunday was like 50% off. This and this hobby boxes under $100. Well, actually, right at $100. When's the last time you bought a hobby box for $100? So this is 2022, high number. That was $50. This was $70 and went for $50. We actually bought two of those. Hey, sorry about that. Knocked the phone down. So, where was I? Yeah, price on wax, very good on Sunday. If you're able to stay longer, it paid off. And just nothing really big out of, you know, the hobby boxes. You never know if you're going to get an auto or anything like that, but just some rookies. Stephen Kwan, Neil, Spencer Strider. So he was on my list. I was actually looking for his refractor that's numbered out of this set. I didn't see it anywhere, and I got two wits. And then out of AEW, the Acclaimed. I think it's a cool card. Canvas. Here's a Jungle Boy picked up. And then these are like a little insert set breakouts. They were like acetated. So I thought that's very cool. I actually went on eBay and started looking up some of the other wrestlers that they have that I might want to pick up. I'm not a big Cage fan, so I'll pick up, or a Christian fan. I'll end up moving this one, but I'll look into some of the other wrestlers that they have in that breakout little mini set. And then we went on and looked on Sunday. Saturday night, man, so I stayed at the Crown Plaza, and I didn't really know about that ballroom that was having the trade night there. But as far as the lobbies, like I didn't see anybody in there at all. In fact, I went to Bill Murray Brothers. They've got a bar called Caddyshack, restaurant I should say, called Caddyshack inside the Crown Plaza. I went to the bar and I had dinner there, talked to a couple people that were at the convention, and just, you know, talking cards. It was pretty cool. And then I went up to the room, and that was pretty much it. So then Sunday, I started my dollar box hunting and also looking for the elusive Bobby Jones, Gowdy. Cannot find it anywhere. Got a little frustrated. And then I just said, all right, you know, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. Let's start looking at some cards that you wanted to pick up. And some of them, one of them that was on my list was the 62 Yaz. Really nicely centered. No snowing over by the stadium. Let me get that graded. Wrestling was super hot, and man, was it price. So the select hobby boxes and Prism, oh, crazy prices. I couldn't believe it. I wanted it. That was on my list. You know, I said if I couldn't get the Topps Chrome from this year, I wanted to get a WWE Select. Man, nope, not in this price range. So I got this at a really good price from 22 Select. The Rock. These are numbered out of 249. This is from RBI Crew 7. I have been following them and purchasing with them since I got back in the hobby. Really nice guys. They're out of Missouri. Yeah, can't say enough good things. And they talked about how huge wrestling has gotten. Found this one at a dealer that was like tucked away in a corner. It looked like a really small, small section he was selling. But I found this gem. So mini card, Mike Trout, 2013. Now this isn't the year of the Heritage. I think this maybe was in the product, like series, like one of the flagship products. Because 2013, this was not the design for Heritage. It does say Heritage on it. So just nice. I like the Heritage minis anyway. Add it to collection. Let's see. The only golf cart I picked up, it was in a dollar bin, was this cool fairway Tiger Woods. Very disappointed on the golf cards. I could not find any. But I did go heavy in wrestling. So here's a couple of Allen Ginters. Nikolai Volkov. Classy Freddie Blassie. Bobby DeBrain. McGrude. AJ Styles. Dusty Rhodes, The American Dream. Shane McMahon. Ricochet, he's getting real popular right now. He's got a big match coming up at SummerSlam. Another Ricochet. This from Heritage. Triple H. A couple Rock ones. Rock and Cena from WrestleMania. Love it. Another Rock. Another Rock. Then saw some 90s basketball. Really well-centered cards. So Chris Mullin. Clyde to Glide. Larry Legend. So I already know 2024, this is going to be a Legend, Larry Legend auto on a card. That's going to be my goal. Stockton. Finally found a dealer that was selling Topps Tiffany. I was looking all over for Topps Tiffany. I know it's kind of a niche thing, but I didn't see much of it. And in fact, on my list, I was looking for the 87 Topps Tiffany of Bo Jackson graded. Didn't see it, but dollar bin that I did see, or $5 bin I did see. These are all Topps Tiffany. Here's the Will Clark. You can tell a little difference on the back here. There's also the regular ones where it has the date. They're going to have stars over here if it's just a regular, but you notice the color difference. Tony Gwynn. Another one, 86 Tony Gwynn. Greg Maddux. And another 89 Greg Maddux. Tell by the difference there. All look really good. Went over to a dealer. So I had two cards to move that I talked about. I was looking to move a 2012 Prism, LeBron James, and a PSA 10, just the base card. I actually bought that during the pandemic on the advice of Eric Those Back Pages. I bought it for $100, and during the pandemic, it got as high as $1,000. And I was going to use that to purchase like a big mantle card. Which, speaking of mantle, now that I didn't find the Bobby Jones, I was kind of pivoting also towards like what other big cards I can pick up to kind of remember this national. And I was looking for the 1964 mantle, because I have a 1964 Heritage style of Jeter, and I thought they would look super cool paired together. But so that was on my radar. And on Saturday, I found one that was raw for $350. But I said, it might be back there. I kind of was like thinking about it in the shower Sunday morning. I was like, maybe I'll pick up that card. And then sure enough, when I went back, that was the first card I looked for on Sunday morning, and it was gone. So lesson learned, if your instincts tell you to get it, you know. So back to this trade. So I found a dealer. He's from the New England area. I told him I had some cousins that live in Lowell, Massachusetts, and started talking about Red Sox and yada, yada, yada. So I had the 2012 LeBron. I also had a 2019 LeBron cracked orange ice in a PSA 10. Now, the combination of those cards, price-wise, the 2012 LeBron was about $400, and the other one was last sold at like $150. So I was looking for something around like, $500 to trade with. And then I had Curry, his prestige Panini rookie on my list. Now, mind you, I bought that LeBron for $100. The cracked ice LeBron, orange ice LeBron, I pack pulled that, and it got graded in a 10. So I'm already ahead of the game, right? No matter how this trade goes, I'm ahead of the game, and I've never traded with anyone before. So, and I don't think he did either, because he was more of a seller, but I could tell he was a little hesitant about the trade. And then when I asked him where he was from, because I noticed the accent, and then we started talking. I thought he felt a little bit more comfortable. I felt a little bit more comfortable. And sure enough, we made the trade. I actually picked up 2 of the 2009 Panini Prestige rookies of Steph Curry. Here's the one in the PSA 9. And then the one that I was actually eyeballing on my list. Here's the other one. And I'm going to get this graded. This one, it looks really, really good. I'm so happy to have these. For me personally, as a basketball fan, I'm a much bigger fan of Steph Curry than I am of LeBron. I just think Curry, he changed the game. He absolutely changed the game. Every single kid now wants to shoot three-pointers, no matter how tall you are. The way he plays, he absolutely eliminated the position of center. Because look at Joel Embiid. As tall and as dominant as he is in the paint, he's shooting threes. So super, super, super happy to add both of these Currys to the collection. So I was like, kind of on the adrenaline wear off. So I went around and started looking at dollar boxes again. Came across a guy that had a bunch of Topps Heritage that I wanted to add it to the collection. So got a little stack here of White Sox and Red Sox. And some key cards I picked out. Rookies. Giolito's rookie. Now that he's not with the Sox anymore, that's awesome. Sox are hot garbage. I'm putting it right here. They're hot garbage. Reinsdorf needs to sell the team. I'm done. Done with them. Done with them. Really nice centered. Judge. Here's a Goldie. This is actually his rookie. This was in the dollar bin. His rookie for Heritage, I should say. Jeter. Ichiro. Konerko. Tommy. Burley. Pujols. I mean, these all look really good for being in dollar bins. Look at the colors popping that. Beautiful. Dustin Pedroia, the Destroyer. Big Papi. Another Ichiro. And Griffey. And then I went around, tried to pick up some stuff for the White Sox PC. A little bit of vintage and a little bit of modern. But before we get into, oh no, we'll go right into that. So I'm super happy I picked up this Jake Burger auto from Heritage. Now he's not with the White Sox anymore. Got traded to Miami. Done with the Sox. So that's awesome. I got this so there was another dealer there that was, he saw my Marine Corps tattoo and we started talking. Turns out he was with the 82nd Airborne in Vietnam and he had retired from the Army. So we started talking military and stuff like that. He was in Florida and came up for the show. He had mostly vintage stuff or relics and autograph stuff. Nothing modern, which was cool. So I was going through the boxes. Love this card to begin with that White Sox uniform. But look at that auto. Beautiful auto. Really happy to have this one. And this was less than a blaster. Less than the price of a blaster. So these are the older ones. See the little hologram on the back. That is my one regret. Well, I've 2 regrets that I'll talk about later. But Next year or next national, much more autos. I'm going to try to pick up much more autos. Found this one. I believe this is a Panini product. Was it? Yeah, it is. But I thought it looked cool. Looks vintagey. Go with the White Sox collection. Some old school relics. It's very cool. Love it. Here's a couple seats from Old Comiskey from Heritage. Love that it says rookie year. And one more. And then I found this unique card. It goes with my Field of Dreams collection. 1971 Flair. New York Giants versus Chicago White Sox. I've never seen this card before. This is almost reminiscent of, you know, old scoreboard at Sox Park. But yeah, 1971 Flair. And then some 1957 Topps out of dollar bins. Add these to the White Sox binder. It's really pop. Beautiful images. I think I'm getting a little bit more into vintage. As long as it looks good. Really nice, Nelly. I got a nice deal with this. This was, gentleman, he was from New York. He had huge boxes of vintage. It was set up over by that Melee Pops. If you know Melee Pops, he's a modern Instagram influencer. This guy was like right across from him. Tons of vintage stuff, really nice. And so he did me a bundle, all these cards. And then I was really looking for this card because this was on my hit list. And that was the 57 Brooklyn Dodgers team card. The last of the Brooklyn Dodgers. So I bundled all those together, gave me a really good price. So then we continued our search to find the one big card I really wanted. And I was like, man, should I go back and get that Bob Cousy rookie? It bugged me. Something about it that said the authentic and not an actual grade. I know I may not see it again at that price because usually, you know, the SGC ones start at like, you know, $1,000 to begin with. And this one was going for $400. And just to own that card, I thought would be something pretty special, you know, but there was just that nagging feeling like, yeah, but it's authentic. It was cut, or altered. Yeah, so I didn't. So I kept on being patient. That's one of the things I learned about myself with collecting is what kind of collection I really want to have, as opposed to like, you know, years past, I went bananas in the dollar bins, just picking up tons of stuff. And where does it go? It goes right into the binder. But I want to get some nice showpieces, I think, moving forward. You know, be patient. And I'm going to start looking for, I guess you say, quality over quantity, right? So with the funds I had allotted, I also found out that I'm very uncomfortable paying $1,000 for a card. So I had like quite a bit of money left over still. And I just like, because I talked to a guy, there was 3 different dealers. So another backup card. 3 different dealers had the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Dr. J, the Bird and Magic rookie, right? And they were all graded in like a 6 or a 7 from different companies. And they all ranged from these 3 different dealers anywhere between $800 and $1,000. And I wanted to pull the trigger on, there's 2 young guys. They had nothing but modern stuff. And then they had the Bird and Magic rookie. It was, he had listed as $1,000. So I did the comps, checked it out, and you know, the last 3 sold for in a 6 sold for around $736. I showed him the comps. The guy kept on saying, "Yeah, I know, but this is really nice looking." Like the guy who's selling it doesn't even want to sell it. I'm like, well, if he doesn't want to sell it, why is it in a display case? And then he kind of just laughed. He goes, "Well, let me go talk to him and see what he can do." And then, you know, I made an offer of, you know, $775. He came back at me at $900. And I was like, no. So sometimes you got to say no and just keep moving. There was a little where it says Sixers on that. If you're familiar with the card, it says Sixers above Dr. J. That pinkish red ink was like smeared a little bit. Corners were perfect. Centering was perfect. That smearing of the card, of the ink, just, you know, kind of threw me off. But anyway, you just keep moving on and keep looking. And I found a dealer that I could work with. I found 2 cards that both fit what I was looking for. One card I totally did not expect to pick up, and the other one was a koozie. So I bundled these together. I made an offer, and then he came back and knocked $75 off. So I got this beautiful, beautiful 1955 Ted Williams, my first Ted Williams card. And how do I not have a Ted Williams card sooner than now? With him being a Marine and the greatest hitter of all time. Woo! Man, super happy to get this. He was 100% firm on this price. He did not fudge, unfortunately, which is fine with me, because then he offered a deal on the next card. Look at that. Just beautiful. Super happy to have this in the collection. Really well centered. Color looks great. And then I bundled it with this Bob Cousy from 1961-62 Fleer. No snowing whatsoever. Looks great. It is on my hit list of cards I've always wanted to pick up. And this was $500. He knocked $75 off. And I just was very appreciative of that. Let's see if we can get these both these guys in here. The dealer was very nice. I remember his show every year. He's also was over by the Melee Pops. If you remember in that area, he had all like the little lamps above the showcases. Really, you know, he had a really nice all retro or all vintage cards he was selling. But man, he was very nice to talk to. And he's there every year. And I said, I remember you because I love these little lamps you put over your showcases. It looks great. The reason why I just got a 4, I'll tell you, look at that. Man, just beautiful. Because there's like a little mark on the back here, but I don't care about that. But I'm just really happy. I always see this at, you know, big card shows. I'm like, man, if I can't get the rookie, I'd love to add that to the collection. And then one last time. Beautiful Ted Williams. Super happy to add these 2 cards and the Steph Currys. I'm super happy to add, you know. So if you went to the National, let's go over my regrets. So my regrets is I brought a stack of cards to sub. They were mostly Ohtani's for my PC, and they were all going to go to SGC. And I was freaking out about time management. I was like, man, I got to walk this floor. I can't wait in these lines. And then it turns out like the lines weren't that bad, but they stopped taking subs at like 1 o'clock on Saturday to get the cards back to you on Sunday. And with me trying to meet, you know, Brian Myers and then looking around, I just kind of passed on doing the sub. So if I go for an additional day, that would be the first thing I would, if I was going to be there on Friday, that would have been the first thing I did was show up Friday, submit my cards, and then go from there. Second regret was I didn't meet any YouTubers. I met Snoop. That was it. I saw Mike O, but he was in the middle of negotiations with somebody. And I also saw Victor, the rookie card specialist. He was in the middle of negotiations, so I didn't want to bother him. But yeah, I missed all the meet and greets, the meetups. So hopefully next year, Cleveland. I plan on staying overnight in Cleveland, and I could go to some of these events. So finally, this was my 4th year of going to the National, and it is just a great event every year. From the cards, talking cards, just everything's great about it. I highly suggest if you've never gone, go. Just go. You won't regret it. The amount of stuff that's there. It's just incredible. Incredible. Hopefully, if you went, you had a great experience. I haven't heard anything bad, except for everyone complaining about the heat, which it wasn't that bad. You know, I sweated a little bit, but I'm not, like, I've sweated in 130 degrees in Iraq. That's sweating, okay? So, you know, it wasn't that bad. But anyway, it was, I mean, you're going to be moist, you're going to be a little wet, but, like, you're walking around, you're having fun, you know? Just drink a lot of water while you're walking around. Anyway, That's enough of that rant. I taped some footage of the actual show floor, of some of the jerseys that were up for auction, some of the retro. You should have saw the retro CDs and albums that they're grading now, action figures. There's a bunch of Star Wars and He-Man stuff I recorded. And then just the area where kids were trading. It looked really cool. So the hobby is not dead. It is alive, and I'm enjoying every second of it. So thanks for watching. I know this was a long one. If you liked it, please give a like. If there's anything in cards you saw that you liked, comment on them. And let me know about your experience. All right? Take care. Out.
With that being said, so it's 87. Yeah, but he's talking about now we're going to place a bet on it. Be careful. No, because I like
So these are all silver figured circle all that. Yeah, you go, sir.
This is the end of day one for me. It is overwhelming, to say the least. And it don't stop. Everybody trading over here. Wheeling, dealing, and trading.